Hi, I'm Meka.
I'm Michelle.
And that's Michelle, and I'm Nataraja. And Meka, who do we have with us today?
This is Magical Michelle Orwick. She's one of my dearest mentors in my life. She has taught me theta healing and so many magical aspects to bring into daily life that she's made everything more amazing about existence. So
How can you not live up to that? Thank you.
So we are very honored and privileged to talk to probably I'll say one of the greatest healers of Florida, but she's really bringing magic to our community in a whole new way. Her name is Michelle Orwick, magicalmichelle.com, and she knows her stuff, yo.
Michelle, thank you for joining us here at Ascended Heart Navigators.
From all those days a zillion years ago of drum circles outside of the Florida School of Holistic Healing many years ago, when I met the beautiful two of you,
right,
days ago in the gardens.
Long time ago it has been. And so I studied a couple of theta classes with Michelle. That's how I met you. I think through Avalon, I think I met you. I went in to go get a reading a long time ago.
I stopped giving readings there like 8 years ago, except for special occasions. So it's been a while.
It's been a while. So Michelle and Meka, I wanted to have a conversation with both of you because Michelle, you're having, I'm seeing a lot of your information coming through and coming up about the Ascension process. And so I wanted to talk to both of you because this is an important time to be talking about this and getting both of your perspectives on the Ascension and what's happening within our humanity right now and on the globe. And so I wanted to ask you both, like, what is the Ascension process from both of your perspectives?
Ooh.
So you're both getting different information because you're tapping in, but is basically the same thing. And I want to hear what your message is that you're both getting.
All right, that's a big question, actually. Okay, I get a lot of my information from Michelle, so she's constantly. There's some people who like tap in periodically with their spirit guides or with healing or energy work or what's going on with the stars and astrological alignments. And what Michelle does, and that's why I think Magical Michelle is such a perfect title for her, is she brings magical aspects to life every day. It's part of her daily living. And she does it for herself and she does it for others. And then she teaches people, like with her Goddess Within program, how to bring magic and intention and well-being and all of that positive energy that's really life-changing into their lives every day. So I learned that I studied all of 2019. I spent studying pretty much with Michelle theta healing. I became a spiritual life coach with her program, the Odyssey Institute of Healing Arts. And it was really a nice enhancement to what I've learned in my shamanic studies. So it's a really nice modern approach. It helped enhance what I do with tarot readings or Reiki. And then it was just like a modern form of a lot of the shamanic work in a different way with very clear questions and stuff. So when we talk about Ascension, I feel like it's been a process that humanity has been going through for a long time. And we've been getting evidence over it throughout the years. And I knew it when I was younger without knowing. I think we have something inside of us that we're remembering, whether through past lives or whether through just this knowing that's inside of us. And we're remembering. I think that whole waking up. So recently it's accelerated to the point of, no backing out now, yo. We are waking up. We're here now. We're in awakening and we're just tapping into it. So I believe it's the alignments and all the things that Michelle can talk about, but I feel like we're remembering who we really are
Okay.
That's definitely a big part of it. Um, for me, the ascension is go through periods of time in human evolution. So you see this with the Renaissance, you see it in the Industrial Revolution. We're in what is being called the golden age of alignment. So for the last 30 years or so, we have been moving into the age of Aquarius. And what that means is we're becoming we're actually using more of our brain than ever before. We use more of our actual frontal lobe than you would have needed as a president. The average American gets more information on their cell phone every day than a president received in a week in, before technology brought it to them. They would not have to deal with as many things as we deal with in one day. And so what
Mm,
we're doing is we're opening up our mind, we are meditating more, we are energizing and actually understanding that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so with that, the best way to create said reality and be in more one of us always wants to be in control, right? Where I used to say I was a control freak, but the only thing I actually have control of is my thoughts. And
Yes.
so
mm,
as a control freak, cleaning up my thoughts to create the reality is part of the ascension. So that's frequency and vibration, actually raising yourself out of anger, fear, worry, concern, and into the frequency vibration of love, higher vibrational realities, which have been around as we've been told by prophets always. We have always been told. Rumi, the Christ prophet teachings, Moses, the Egyptian tablets. So there's all these things throughout time that say the exact same things as we're coming back to as a human collective. And the more we understand it collectively, the ascension is raising the frequency of the collective. And I actually think 2020 being a quiet time has brought us more into meditation,
mm.
more into ourselves and less into the chaos. We have had time to look at what's real and what is meaningful. And so what happens is these star alignments, maybe people have felt like things are speeding up, and they sped up in the 60s, and then they sped up again. The harmonic convergence was the first big world prayer 30 years ago, and then we were all feeling it at 2000, and then 2012, and on and on and on. And we are moving into an age where we get to have a higher human consciousness. We get to be joyful as a body experience, when you get a full body experience. And that's what shamans have been doing worldwide. That's what medicine women and men and shamans, and whether that's Celtic shamanism, Peruvian shamanism, European shamanism, all the way down to Africa and all the way through North America. There's a similarity to it all, which is why you're seeing people come back to the roots of the basics. So it's interesting that we're doing the basics to ascend. And so the ascension process is this growth of humankind. And we also are coming into a feminine and masculine balance where we have to, the age of Pisces was the masculine dominant. And before that, we had a 2008 year age of the feminine over controlling the masculine. So, what this is asking us to do is heal our wound as a woman, but also a male healing his wounds with women and his femininity. We heal our wounds as women, that and our masculinity, our action side, and we
Mm.
heal our wounds with men. So when we do that, we can come into a unified state. And I really think it's the understanding of unification, like
Mm.
all
Wow.
together, unification is the goal.
Yeah, I haven't heard that perspective before, and I love that. That is really, that's bringing into balance more of the energies of the planet, and I've not actually heard that perspective. And so, when you're talking about the different times throughout history, is this just another moment in history in Ascension, or is this something particularly different from both of your perspectives? Are you feeling this is a moment in time where this is significantly different in the Ascension process?
Well, I think it's the big event, so to speak. I think it's the moment where we rocket ship, I'm getting chills, into a new way of existence where I have to say something because it's coming through. Like I feel like our DNA is going to be fully activated. The things that we're already doing in energy work, like you said, working. All the shamans have been working with this for a long time, but I feel like it's everything and more. Like I feel like more of our brain is going to be open, that we can like choose to connect to this higher frequency at any point. And once we choose, we can just stay in this new way of life. And I know it's a little confusing, but I really feel like it's the big event where we are a new type of human.
And
Mhm.
I will agree that it is absolutely creating that, they're calling it the golden age. We
Right.
are moving into the golden age. And it's actually been predicted in many different cultures. Nostradamus predicted it. He said after the Third World War, we'll have 1,000 years of peace. And the big key was that he actually predicted the fire in the cathedral in France. And he actually said, when angels fly, which they took these cranes and they had taken the 12
Oh,
archangels out by crane right before the fire.
Oh,
And so he said, when angels fly from the cathedral, then that is the beginning. And we are about 30 years from his prediction of 1,000 years of peace. And that's the Hopis and so many other, there's my chills, have predicted this all the way back to Egypt. And some are calling it the golden age of Isis, coming in on the 21st of December this year. We have this grand conjunction of the alignment of Jupiter and Saturn, which has not been in that form of an alignment. It's kind of like a star eclipse where
mhm.
they line up in this perfect form, and it makes the brightest star in the sky. We can feel it, right? We're
Mhm.
already feeling it.
And when is that? That's supposed to be happening, or is it happening now, or is it supposed to be happening soon, right?
Already happening now.
Okay.
And when the time of this filming, we are right before the 12/12 portal. And then we have the solar eclipse on Monday. We just had a lunar eclipse. So on Monday, the 14th, we have a solar eclipse. And then the following Monday, we have the star alignment. So the stars are getting closer and closer and closer till they have this alignment on the winter
Okay.
solstice. And it
Okay.
hasn't
And
been
so can
close.
I want you to back up a little bit to be able to slow down and then bring people that are not aware of what you're talking about, possibly. Like what have been the portals or the moments of alignment that are leading up to this, and what are those portals or alignments like now and in the next to near future? If you can like break
Okay.
it down,
So
break it
how far
down.
back do you want me to go? Big picture or small picture?
A smaller, more recent picture within within
2020.
people's under
yeah.
20. Let's say 2020. Yeah, let's
So
let's do 20.
2020 has had a lot of these massive alignments. And what an alignment is things like an eclipse. This is when we have star alignments that
Okay.
are rare. And when we have energetic portal days, most ascension process followers or believers follow into numerology sequences. So you have 222 and 111 and these numerology sequences, because math is a code. And sacred geometry is a code, and frequency is a code, and light is a code, and sound is a code. So we use the numbers of these days, like 1111, that have these frequencies of numbers. And so this year you had something that's extremely rare. February 202 or 22,
Right.
2020. That and other number sequences like that have been really powerful this year.
Okay.
You had a really rare alignment on Halloween this year. This year we had a blue moon, powerful full moon on Halloween, which actually lines up to the Bermuda Triangle and the Pleiades and the Seven Sisters. And I believe it activated an energy that's often considered to be Atlantean. So there's the golden age of Atlantis and the golden age of Lemuria, which were said to be cultures way before our understanding of time and space. So we are remembering them, or is time unlinear, and are we actually lining up to those golden ages, and actually are we in a loop where we're actually moving into the golden age of Lemuria? So is the past the past, or is the future the future?
Oh, the chills.
Whoa.
So time and space isn't linear. It's a construct that we have to live in. And so quantum physics talks about it being, we're actually collapsing time when we talk about ascension, which means we're leaving timelines. Every time we make a choice, there's a split in a timeline. So every time we have a government official elected, there's two timelines where actually both officials win, right? So there's a version of us that had an election, 4 or 5 times ago, and those create different energies. And so at different points, we have collapsing timelines where certain realities come together. And so there's what they call the 3D timeline, which, as I understand it, is the denser timeline, fear timeline, those who do not want to make a change, those who do not want to move into their soul's purpose. They don't believe in joy. They don't know joy. They're going to get caught up in all the things like anger and hate and frustration. Whereas the 5D timeline believes in moving our frequency into the energy of love and kindness and compassion and togetherness and unification and taking care of each other. And that doesn't mean that there isn't righteous change, because there's a lot of righteous change in a 5D timeline. That means we move into equality. That means that we right things that are wrong. So don't get me wrong when I say that it's all love and light, because it's not, because love is doing it the right way, the good karma way, the sometimes harder way.
Thank you. Yeah, I've heard so many different perspectives of the timeline, and like the new Earth, and then the Earth like splitting. There's going to be a version of Earth, that's going to be choosing another path of fear, and there's going to be a version of Earth that's going to go into 5D. And I've heard various conversations about like what that looks like. And is from what you're getting, is there going to be basically two different, or there's going to be two different Earths, or there are going to be so many different timelines within the...
For me, my belief is that there's two separate timelines. So it's not a different place, it's a different frequency. So let's even talk about right now. I am living a really good year. Like I've been super happy. Not perfect. Like everybody has their meltdown when they can't find a piece of paper, which happened to me last week, and my house apart looking for a piece of paper that was never found. And yet there's a synchronicity in that where I found a whole lot of other things.
Wow.
And so my belief is in that everything happens for a reason and a synchronicity. And I can be living in that at the same time as someone is having an experience of a horrific world.
Mhm. Okay, thank you for that clarification. Yes, and I think that's going to make a lot of sense for a lot of people understanding it in that way. And then Mecca, what about you? Like, what is your what are the messages and the understandings of this ascension process from what's coming in from your
Well,
messages?
I did get a download or channeling session the other night that you were able to witness some of. And it was saying that like we have 5D available to us right now. Like what I mean by that is fifth dimensional reality, which means that we can choose an elevated form of existence. We can manifest things quicker. We can believe in
Okay.
that love frequency, and we can like actually call in healing. We can really commit to a higher form of ourselves, our highest self. And
Mhm.
it's available to us. And I know that all of this takes some work, but almost stepping into the joy and then letting a lot of things just fall off and stay in 3D, if that makes sense.
Right.
There's there is like a step over, you know?
Mhm.
And so my most of what I've received, I mean, I started this from childhood, really. I had a download, I remember saying that like everybody wins, like everybody heals, like the worst of the worst that we think are the villains of the story, as you know, our fellow humans, and they're the bad guys. I really hear, you know, since childhood that we're in a new age. I felt that that's one of my life's purposes, one of my soul purposes is helping facilitate that transition, and shining some light and maybe spreading the word to people who wouldn't normally be exposed to this type of talk, this higher self talk.
Mhm.
And it was always like everybody wins. There's no like, oh well, they're gonna burn somewhere and
This is
these
easy.
people are select, you know, it's just like everybody has a chance to choose for themselves how they want to exist.
Right.
And so many people are going to be set free from the ancestral trauma or their own um, like greed or pain or shame or guilt. Like they literally get to be set free from those constructs that are like programmed into their DNA, or have come out in their life experience or past lives or just a, you know, core of their ancestral lines, that those get to actually, they get to be set free. And it's like their DNA just
Mm.
like clears a lot of that old lower dense frequency, and it's just like this infusion of light.
Right.
That's what I've been feeling. That's kind of the
Mhm.
way it's communicated to me. I'm a little bit more abstract, which is good that
Mhm.
we have a Taurus who's super magical, but she's also a little bit more grounded than I am because I'm the Cancer and I feel, and that's why I sing, is because it comes through emotional waves for me. But I do is like
Mhm.
everybody wins, like the highest good of humanity on an individual level and really as a collective because we're representing each other too.
I feel like everyone wins too, and
Yeah.
that we've already technically won. You
Yes.
know, if you think of it as a war, they throw the worst at you after they've already lost. They have nothing to lose.
Right.
So we're in that point where the light has already won, and
Right.
everybody wins is true because each of us are in our own soul elevation. And so that's why she says I live it every day, but my goal is to live devotionally.
Mm.
Like the details, the magic is in the details. You can have a
Ooh.
cup of tea and you can just chug it down and that was a cup of tea. Or you could have a ceremony making your tea and loving your tea and blessing your tea. Same thing with your water, your food, your devotional, your gratitude, because you can't be in lack and gratitude at the same
Ooh.
time. That's scientifically proven. You
Yeah.
can't be in lack and gratitude at the same time. So if you live your life in gratitude, you're looking for gratitude. You're looking for things to go right, the synchronicities, the blessings, the
I love that.
part of it as well.
Whew. Ooh, that's delicious. So good.
Yeah, I love that. And so you had Meka, you had just mentioned about the like infusion of light, and I want to wrap up this conversation about we briefly talked about it before, and I think that this is kind of what's happening right now, even with like what's happening with the sun moving into this like to light, the actually what's going on with the sun and the solar flares. It's
Ooh.
infusion of light. And so if you can both end with like a deeper understanding of what that timing is, and I think it's on the solstice, right? Which is going to be my understanding of this infusion of light, the sun, and then what's happening within the ascension process. You can conclude with that. That would be awesome.
Ooh. Ooh. The only thing I gotta say is like I'm gonna be hanging out with you guys, so I know I'm gonna get an infusion of light. So
So
the love.
there's this grand conjunction of some are calling it the Star of Bethlehem, some
Right.
call it the start of the age of Aquarius, but all agree that this alignment that happens has never happened like this for 600 years, and certainly never on this winter solstice, which has another grand meaning. It's either the winter or summer solstice, depending on where you live in the world. And so this all lines up, and it's the same star as the astrologers would have went to find baby Jesus. So some are calling it the Star of Bethlehem. And so light workers around the world, the one thing that it will guarantee has never been done before is the amount of ripple effect through the entire planet. It will be, I know already because of the amount of people I know creating group meditations, going into ceremony, going in, whether you do it with a group, whether you do it privately, whether you do it as a like I'm doing an activation in my group, other people I know are doing activations online, but other people are picking, like, going out. I know friends in Hawaii that are going out onto, their ceremony. Wherever you are a grid worker of your place on the planet, activating your part of the planet into the grid lines of planet Earth in this grand star alignment.
Love
And
that.
so each person acts as every person that meditates, and this will be the largest global 24 hours of meditation that's ever been seen. So that in itself will change the vibration.
Whew.
And it is already changing. Just the amount of meditation in December that's happening alone is changing the Schumann resonance
Mhm.
of the planet, which is frequency, and
Yep.
it's music in and of itself. It's the Earth's heartbeat. And so we go in with intention, with love, with seeing our own heart merge with the heartbeat of the planet and the whole world, become unified, that masculine and feminine balance, the polarities of we are all one, that unification. And it'll literally ripple around the world, because it'll start, in the part of the world, and it will move through the 24 hours. So
Mhm.
you'll have about actually almost 48 hours of global meditation because of the ripple effect.
Wow.
So I'll actually start my ceremony
Wow.
on the morning of the 20th. And I have all these different things that I'll be doing for like a 2.5 day period of time to anchor the light, anchor people, activate the
Okay.
DNA, activate the planet, activate the unification.
Wow. Yeah, the
Oh,
grid,
wow.
yo.
Well, yeah, yeah, I would love to, yeah, get some, like, maybe like do like a quick, thing. Mick and I will figure out some way of getting a little bit more of the morsels of that so that we can get people activated during that time, because that sounds beautiful and amazing.
I'm doing an
I want to
activation.
thank you. You are doing an activation.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how can people find out about it?
It'll be on magicalmichelle.com or on my Facebook, Michelle Orwick, on my Facebook, if you want to.
And we'll share it on Ascended Heart Navigators things.
Okay.
Her magicalmichelle.com is already linked
Okay,
on
thank
the
you.
Navigator's website page. And we can also link it on
They
all
are,
our
yes.
social media.
I'm doing my first public channeling of Isis
Woo!
during the 6 o'clock hour. Isis and the Goddess Council are going to channel through me on the 21st. So
Perfect.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, that's huge.
Oh, that's going to be so exciting.
Wow.
Yes,
That's huge.
yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you both for adding this. This is another some more beautiful little bits about our discussion about this topic. Meka, Michelle, thank you for being here with us
Thank you
and
so much
adding
for
to
having me.
this discussion about the ascension process. Thank you, Meka.
Thank you always. And I'm sure we're going to
We'll
talk
be talking soon.
more about some really amazing topics.
I love you guys so much.
We love you. Thank you. Everyone, I hope you're traveling well through this ascension process. And we're going to talk more soon. So keep on meditating and loving yourself. Awesome. Have a good, awesome day. Oh, yeah.